Hello and welcome back. So this is the final video on surds and indices. So in this video, we're going to be looking at rationalising the denominator. So the objective here is to remove surds from denominators of fractions. We're going to rationalise denominators with one term, and we're also going to rationalise denominators with two terms using what we call a conjugate. So a quick definition before we get started. So to rationalise the denominator means to remove any surds from the denominator of a fraction. So what the idea is mathematicians, they are really fussy people, and mathematicians, they think it's really disgusting, really ugly if we have a surd on the denominator of a fraction. So for example, if we have 1 over the square root of 7, that is not acceptable. There is a surd on the denominator and it's disgusting. It's perfectly reasonable to have a surd on the numerator of a fraction, but absolutely not. There can never be, well there can, but it's not very nice for there to be a surd on the denominator of a fraction. So what they do is they use the key idea that if you multiply a surd by itself, you end up with the number that you first started with. So in other words, if I times root 7 by itself, that gets rid of the surd, which is nice. So root 7 times root 7, that's root 49, and the square root of 49, that's 7, so that's great. But I can't just go around multiplying the denominators of fractions by surds. I have to do the same thing to the top of the fraction for the fraction to still balance. So I need to multiply the top by root 7 as well, and I end up with 1 root 7, so root 7 over 7, and that's perfectly acceptable. So we're allowed to have surds on numerators of fractions, but we're not allowed to have surds on denominators of fractions, at least if they're rationalised. We can't. So here's some examples. So we need to rationalise the following fractions. So 1 over root 3. So again, we're going to use the idea that if you multiply a surd by itself, we end up with a nice number. So if we times that by itself, we end up with root 3 times root 3. So root 3 times root 3, that's root 9, and root 9 square rooted is 3. But then I have to do the same thing to the top. So 1 times root 3, that's just going to be 1 root 3, or just root 3. This example here, so I'm going to times the top and the bottom by root 2. So if I do that, I have to times both of them by root 2. So 5 times root 2, that's 5 root 2. And root 2 times root 2, so that's root 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. So I end up with 5 root 2 over 2. This last example, now I could, if I wanted to, I could times the numerator and denominator by 2 root 5. But I don't have to do that. I could just times it by root 5. Times in by root 5 gets rid of the surd of the denominator, and that's all we're trying to achieve here. So 3 times root 5, that's 3 root 5, and 2 root 5 times root 5. So root 5 times root 5, that's root 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. So we're doing 2 times 5, and that gives us 10. So here's another example. So firstly, for this example, I'm going to expand root 3 plus 2 and root 3 minus 2. And there's a reason why I'm doing this one in particular. So if I do root 3 times root 3, again, we're going to end up with 3 because I'm doing root 3 times root 3, that's root 9, and the square root of 9 is 3, so we're back to where we started. Root 3 times minus 2, that's minus 2 root 3. 2 times root 3, that's plus 2 root 3, and 2 times minus 2, that's minus 4. So minus 2 root 3 plus 2 root 3, that's 0, and I end up with minus 1. Now the reason I've shown you this is because it shows that if you multiply a surd by itself but just change the sign from a plus to a minus, it ends up with a nice number that doesn't include a surd. So what we call this is a conjugate. The conjugate of the number is the same number, but we've just switched one sign from a plus to a minus or a minus to a plus. So when we're rationalising this one, remember the whole point is to get rid of the surd. If we times it by root 3 plus 2, it wouldn't get rid of the surd. But if we times it by root 3 minus 2, it would get rid of the surd because we've just expanded this, so we know it's going to be minus 1. But again, I have to times the top of the fraction by root 3 minus 2. So if I do 1 times root 3 minus 2, that's going to be root 3 minus 2. It doesn't change. We could also just divide both root 3 and minus 2 by minus 1. So I get minus root 3 plus 2, and that is the answer to that question. Here's another example. So we have 4 over root 5 minus 1. So again, if I multiplied the top and the bottom by root 5 minus 1, the surd this time wouldn't cancel out on the denominator because I would have root 5 minus 1 times root 5 minus 1. So root 5 times root 5, that's 5. Root 5 times minus 1, that's minus 1 root 5. Minus 1 times root 5, that's minus 1 root 5. And minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. So that would be 6 minus 2 root 5. The issue being it's still a surd. But if I times it by its conjugate, so if I just changed this minus to a plus, it would cancel out. Because if I did so, I would have root 5 minus 1 and root 5 plus 1, so swapping the minus for a plus. And I would have root 5 times root 5, which is 5, root 5 times 1, which is 1 root 5, minus 1 times root 5, which is minus 1 root 5, and minus 1 times 1, which is minus 1. So as you can see, the 1 root 5 and the minus 1 root 5, they're going to cancel. So we're just going to be left with 5 take away 1, which is 4. So what we've just done is we've times the bottom by root 5 plus 1, and we've ended up with the denominator of 4, but we need to also times the top by root 5 plus 1. So we've got 4 bracket root 5 plus 1. So that's going to be 4 root 5 plus 4 all over 4. And it's rationalised, and you can see it's rationalised because the denominator is no longer a surd, and the mathematicians are happy because it looks nice. So here are some quickfire practice questions on this topic. Pause the video, have a go at these, and I'll reveal the answers in a moment. Okay, so well done if you managed to have a go at those. So here are the answers, and that's everything. So this was the last video on surds and indices, so I hope you found them useful, and I'll see you again in another video. Bye!